just trying to survive. But God said there's more for me, more than staying alive. I'm stepping into power, into what was always mine. Divine joy rising, it's my time to shine.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I got applause today. Isn't that nice? Hi, I am Diane Butts, your soul care strategist, and this is Daughters of Divine Joy. I greet you on this beautiful day. Isn't it lovely today? Oh my goodness, I was out early and driving around, so it's just been a good day, a good day. So anyway, how y'all doing out there? Everybody good? Enjoying the sunshine? Enjoying the summer? Or at least scratching and surviving. I hope you're doing more than scratching and surviving, but at least scratch and survive because that means there's another day to thrive. Okay. So today we're going to talk about the sacredness of silence. Ooh, I love it. Um, and I'm sure I've talked about it before as one of the strategies you can use in trying to settle yourself so that you can listen to God, to voices from the divine that you may want to hear. But it's really more so not even for those particular reasons, but it's just as a way to calm your soul, quiet your mind, and just listen. Listen. Listening is a skill that not many people master. It is important that you listen before you respond because sometimes we listen for respond just to respond. And that's when our emotions get in the way. And because we don't thoroughly listen, we hear things that the person's not even saying. We're injecting emotions and feelings and information into words that aren't even there. Had no intentions of being there, but because you have not thoroughly listened, um, you know, you begin to do those things. Now, this is it. Um, we don't purposely try not to listen unless there's somebody with a different opinion, and sometimes we close our minds off to things. That happens. But what I find is that sometimes we get so caught up in what we want to say that we don't listen. We want to express ourselves. I know sometimes I have a tendency of talking over people, and it's because I have the thought in my mind, I want to get it out, and sometimes I'll begin talking before they finish. Now, there's an anticipation of what they're already saying, which is means I'm not listening. And it's the fact that I want to get it out my mouth before I forget. And that's usually what it is. I need to say what I got to say before I forget it. That's why I'm not waiting for them to finish, especially if I think I already know what they're trying to say and have no disagreement with it. Anyway, Um, so let me tell you what made me think of this week, and also what made me write about it. You can catch my writing you can catch it here on the PA Empowerment website. You can catch it on Substack. You can catch it on my Facebook page. You can catch it in a number of places, and it's free to catch it, no matter where you consume it at. So, but my Substack is the Divine Joy Declaration. And on the declaration and in many other places I talked about, I brought it up because I started walking. Okay. It was not my idea to walk. My husband got up one morning after his prayer group and announced, I'm going for a walk. I'm like, okay, good for you. And yep, and whatever, there was a discussion on the prayer line and about walking and what it does for you. And he's decided he needs that. So I'm like, good. But like the third day, he said, and you're going with me tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. I don't remember signing up for this. But anyway, I said, okay, go. Sometimes you need to do things not because you feel like doing it, but because it is the right thing to do. It is the thing to do to take care of yourself, even though it's not your favorite thing to do. But I'm coming to understand I don't have to like it. I just need to do it. And if I do it, eventually I'll start liking the results. But I still may not like the thing. Okay. I like the results of working out with weights. I just don't like to work out with weights. But I was committed to the gym while the time that I was there because that was the thing that I did that I saw the results I had been looking for. And that's the whole point. If what I'm doing serves me well, I'm going to keep doing it. And so I got up and started walking. I'm going to tell you this though. That walking made me admit I have allergies because after the first day, coughing, sneezing, sore throat, runny eyes, just the whole 9 yards. And I finally had to say, I believe I really have allergies because all this time I kept saying, people say I have allergies. I don't think I have allergies because it was something new. I'd never had it before. I have allergies. Okay. Because I took a Zyrtec and later on I was like, oh, I feel so much better. So I'll be taking another one today. So anyway, got out there and started walking. First day I had on my morning routine. I listened to cable news, had my coffee, but decided I'm going to leave the coffee until when I get back. That way I can sit down and enjoy my coffee because I hate rushing through coffee. Um, and there's a whole routine around that, but I'm going to keep on with my story. So I go outside. I have my earbud in, but I didn't turn my phone on. I didn't turn on to the morning program. I didn't do anything. And I just walked. My husband and I sometimes we talk to each other. He has his phone and he's listening to his music or whatever. But sometimes we just talk and other times we're in silence and we're listening to whatever it is we want to listen to. But on this day, I decided I didn't want to listen to anything but what was available. Okay. And what's available is 7 o'clock in the morning, birds, the movement of leaves and bushes as the wind blows, if it's blowing. You can smell the fresh cut grass. You can feel the road as you walk on it, the hills, the parts that are more, and that as the incline changes, you feel that in your muscles. So I was very much aware of what was going on in me and around me. Next day, I go out and I have on my earbuds and I'm walking. And so my husband said, oh, your pace is a little different today. What are you listening to? And I said, nothing. He said, you're not listening to anything? Mm-mm. You should listen to music. It'll help you. It'll help you keep your pace. I said, no, not today. So I just walked. The day after that, I just walked. Still had the earbud in because I figured maybe I might want some music this time. But I didn't. I didn't want it at all. And as though it didn't surprise me because oftentimes I'm in the house with nothing. I mean, I'm just in the house. I don't have the radio on. I don't have mute. I'm not playing any kind of music. No television is on. I don't even have the television on and turned down low for background noise. I don't have anything but my own thoughts and whatever creepy sounds go on in this house. That's it. And so the next time we went out, my husband said, what are you listening to? And I said, God. He said, oh, you praying while you walk? No, I'm listening for God. And he said, okay. And so and I just walked. And how I listen for God, it's it's in the movement that's all around you. It's in the sound that's all around you. It's in the smells that's all around you. If you allow yourself to be entertained by nature, you'll find out there's activity all around you. But first, we have to shut off the other noise. And I realize that we have a lot of noise in our lives. Um, I will sometime go on Instagram, and I have to be honest with you, I'm going on it a lot less than I used to. And this is why I don't like it that every time I listen to something, or let's say I'm busy in the house and I may let a reel play 5 times before I turn away from it. And because that happened, the algorithms, which I call the devils of the internet, decide that that's the content I want to absorb. And so that's all I get for a while. If I watch a few cooks, or home chefs, or whoever they are, influencers, to talk about food or make something, then that's all the content I'm going to get. Stop trying to think about what I want. I don't need you to think about what I want. I don't need you to feed me I will stop and read what I want. And sometimes when I stop and I read, it's just for information. All I want is information about the thing. I don't need the thing. I don't need 47 recipes with the cream sauce, because guess who don't need cream? Me. I don't want it. And my satisfaction from looking at it, that is what I want. I want to look at it so then I don't make it and eat it. Because right now, I have a pink sauce in there, made with, Alfredo sauce and crushed tomatoes I put in it. It's really good, but it's a lot of carbs and it's a lot of fats, and I don't that's not really how I eat. So it's in the refrigerator. It'll get eaten probably this weekend, but that's not my style of eating anymore. So I don't want to see that stuff. So anyway, you got all this noise coming. My cousin sent me the video of handsome Malcolm dancing, which I've seen him before dancing as I'm scrolling by. I'm like, okay, he looks happy. Just go ahead. Because I don't scrolling men don't stop me in my tracks. Okay. I mean, dancing men don't stop me in my scroll. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so I see him dancing. That's nice. He looks happy. I'm moving on. Well, I guess I watched the video all the way through. Honey, Malcolm men greet me on my Instagram feed every morning. Every freaking morning, whether I want him or not. Okay. And I started laughing and I told her, I said, why me and Malcolm go together now? You sent me that one video. I looked at it. I couldn't believe it got 33 million views. And now we go together because he's there every morning on my phone. And that's the noise I'm talking about. Our devices are set up in such a way that whether we want it or not, there's certain content we're going to steadily be fed. And I'm saying to myself, that's why I have gadgets here that I don't use, because I keep looking at this thing and it's telling me what to do. And after a while, I find out once I get the gadget, I don't hear from these people no more. What is that all about? So, anyway, I decided I'm not listening and I'm not doing this. So, more and more, I have been turning off the devices. The other day, my cousin called me. The phone was right next to me. I didn't even know until I happened to look down and saw the little screen telling me I had a phone call move, just disappear. And I was like, oh, because my phone's been on silent since Sunday. I put my phone on silent on Sundays, and now it's been staying on that well, it was from Sunday to Wednesday. I don't want the noise. I'm coming to find out that when the more time I spend without the devices, the more time I spend with God. The more time I spend listening to my own thoughts, the more time I feel connected to something that's greater than me, the more time I have to be directed. The more time I realize how much scripture comes up in my spirit that I meditate on, the more silence I have, the more I'm able to sit down and write. Silence is a sacred gift that we have, and we don't use it enough because there are so many competing entities that want to fill our minds with stuff. Isn't that polite how I said stuff? because there's some other S words I could use with stuff. And as I think about it, sometimes it's stuff that I'm actually interested in, but won't stop because I don't want to see it for the next 55 days on repeat every time. I don't even remember the thing I was going to Google. I haven't found that information. And I've been on the phone for 90 minutes, 2 hours, looking, giggling, laughing, sending stuff to people. And I'm not doing what I thought I wanted to do. Oh my goodness. I know it's not just me. Y'all do that same thing. I realized when I put the phone down at night a little earlier, or if I didn't scroll, I was able to sleep better. It's allergy. It's about time for me to take the Zyrtec. I found that if I just put I was eating some nuts. Sorry, y'all. I found if I put the phone down a little earlier, that my sleep is better. I also have my sleep spray. I don't have the other bottle on here because I left one bottle at my sister-in-law. So now I'm using my extra bottle that I had in a room. My husband has one on his side. I have one on my side, and I spray my linens at night. And I'm in bed. I don't have time to be on my phone. I'm falling asleep. Yes, sir. This girl is asleep within 5 or 10 minutes, the tops. So if I don't mess with my phone, I get to sleep sooner. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that some good news? Isn't that something that I don't know how many of y'all are worried about sleep? When I say worried, meaning that you're troubled by the idea that you don't sleep the way you want to sleep or need to sleep. And you wake up in the morning feeling tired and you know you didn't get enough sleep. No matter how early you try to go to bed, you still don't get good sleep. And that's my issue. Started doing perimenopause and I'm postmenopausal and it's still coming. Still, my sleep was poor and it is so much better now. Even my watch is agreeing with me. My sleep has improved significantly by putting down my device early. I have learned that the sacred gift of silence is the gift that keeps on giving. People keep saying they want to protect their peace and they're talking about the people that they're around. Well, sometimes being around people gives me peace. It depends on who you're around. But being around the people that I know generally gives me peace. But you can be around nobody and have this thing in your hand and not have peace because of the manipulation factor of having it. And so, my message is this: turn off the noise, sit with your thoughts. There may be some healing that you need to do, but you've been distracted from it all. There may be some issues you want to work out in your mind. And because your attention has been taken away from it, you haven't got an answer or a remedy. There may be some things that's been on your mind, but you haven't really gave it the time to sit with it, to map out a strategy, to make a plan. Turn off the television. Maybe even turn off the music. And when I say the music, not all sound is bad. There's some sound that is very peaceful and centering for you to hear. Find some alternative music types. That can be whatever it is that you want. Maybe something with no words, something that's not instrumental. Because, well, again, words are putting thoughts into your head. And sometimes that's not bad. Sometimes that's not all bad. because the words are something that are empowering for you or uplifting for you or cause you to offer praise to God, however it is. It's not always bad, but sometimes when you want to be with your own thoughts, however, the words can be distracting. The other good thing about being with yourself in silence is the spiritual aspect of it. And there are some times when I'm doing this, I intentionally choose a scripture that I focus on and I let that marinate. I was going to say meditate, but I'm going to say marinate. I can look at any aspect of my life in terms of that scripture. Is there something financially I'm going through that this scripture would apply? Is there something relational that I'm dealing with some kind of relationship, whether it's a friend or person at church or family member? What is it that could be applied to this thing? Because I'm a firm believer that the word is not just meant for us to read, and it's also not meant for us to use as something to like a pointer. Those pointers in school, you go up to the blackboard. Okay, I'm probably dating myself, but I got smart boards, but all the boards weren't smart. And we used to use chalk and write on the board. And you take the pointer and you point to something that's on the board, and either people, anyway, I'm going to stop all that. But like a pointer, sometimes we use the word to point out other people's flaws or point out their sins or point out some issues, but we use it to point and usually to point away from ourselves. Well, in your silence, that pointer goes within. That pointer looks at you because there's nobody else in the room. And somehow or another, in silence, God doesn't allow you to sit there and meditate and marinate on somebody else's issues. It will come back to you. It will lead you back to you. What could I have said differently? Maybe I shouldn't have said that. You may even think about how the person looked when you said something. Maybe then you'll remember the hurt that was in their eyes or the disgust because they didn't believe you actually said that to them. Maybe that's the time you can sit and think, wow, maybe I should call them and ask them how they took it because that wasn't my intention. Maybe I need to apologize. Sitting in silence allows you to look at you. And that's what we need to do sometimes in order to grow. We need to look at ourselves because the thing that we don't like in other people is usually the thing we see in ourselves and we don't like it. That's why it's so easily to point out in other people because it's familiar. It's familiar. The other thing about the other gift I'll say about sitting with yourself is that sometimes these thoughts come in, and I'm not talking about intrusive thoughts, but maybe an idea that you have never considered or a way of going about something that you hadn't considered. Maybe there was an issue that you're having at work and you've been wondering what you should do about it. And in that silence, that solution pops up. In your silence, there's a level of creativity that begins to emerge. That's not just surface stuff, but it's deeper than a regular, idea popping into your head. I call it having the God in you emerge. I call it being aligned with the will of God. And all of a sudden, something that you were searching for comes to you in a moment of quiet. And last gift that I think we get from these moments of quiet are the unexpected gifts, the things that come to you that you hadn't been thinking about, didn't know you needed, but yet the thought, the idea just comes to you. Those are the most unexpected things. Sometimes I think those are the things that emerge because the soul needs it. And you have finally found enough time to sit and be quiet so you can discover it, so that it emerges and pops up out of your soul. Silence offers us so many things. If we would only take the time to shut our mouths, stop offering our 2 cents, and listen. Sometimes the songs that the birds sing is all the noise you need. Sometimes that's the thing that you hear and experience God. The other thing that I noticed in this time of silence is that my connection to myself feels so much stronger. And when I say connection to myself, we have so many roles that we play. I mean, we're daughters, we're sisters, we're spouses. We go to work. We might be a manager, might be an elder or a deacon at church. You may be a volunteer for this, that, and the third. You may be a sorority member or a fraternity member. Because I have to be aware that men listen to this show. There's so many roles that we play in life. And sometimes we become those things and allow those things to define who we are. But they're just roles that we play. That's not exactly who we are. Hopefully we take who we are and pour it into the roles that allows us to do those things uniquely and differently from anybody else. But there are times when our roles will usurp our identity and make you feel like that's who you are. I'm a mother. That's who I am. But that's not all that you are. That's what I mean by usurping your identity. That's a role that you play. But you're much more than a mother. You're a woman. And so we want to be aware that we have that time to spend so we can connect with ourselves. I hope y'all are getting this. You just don't wake up in the morning and keep doing and doing and doing and think that you know who you are. You must take time. You have to put energy into your relationship with you. You hear me? You who are busy, you who are tired all the time, you who don't put up boundaries, you who feel so good when everybody's telling you you do such a wonderful job and you're so smart and they just clapping and giving you all the applause and you look around and nobody's there helping you. You. It's okay to say no. It's okay for you to take time to invest in you, to get to know you, to see what you like and what you don't like. Because sometimes we stop deciding whether we like something or not. We just do it. Do it to get it done. Like walking. I know I don't like it, but I also know what it does for me. And so I do it. But that's not always the case. Sometimes we just run into those roles and we keep doing it and doing it and doing it because it's a habit. But is it a good habit? So being able to connect with yourself and sit down and say, let me look at my life. Let me look at what I'm doing. Let me look at how I show up. Is this what I want? Is this my intention? And if it's not, what happened? Not where you went wrong. Where did I veer off course? Is this a new course emerging? Is it time for another chapter of the story? Am I turning the page? on this season. There are reasons why we need to change, but there's never a reason to be disconnected from yourself. Because the one thing I do know, honey, you need you to function well in this life. Nobody else can help you be you. Nobody else knows you the way you know you. Okay? And so you have to take care of you. And you do that by taking time to listen to what you want. Listen to your needs. Listen to the areas of your life that are calling for help. Listen for the sound of the death rattle in the areas of your life that are not nurturing to you and are just festering. Listen to yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is a gift that God gives us. I don't know how many of you love to take baths. I have never been a bath person, but you know what I am? I am a soaking in the tub, reading a book, listening to music, sipping white wine kind of woman. I love it. I'll even throw some cheese and crackers in there and grapes. That I like to do. And then the water cools off, just run some more hot water. Water gets so high, let some out, fill it back up. I love soaking in the tub. And I don't have to have music. I can be in total silence. I don't even need the book. Just laying back with my head on a pillow with water. Oh my God. You know what else I like? And I realized that today, my husband's oldest, one of the older sons, his birthday's today. Happy birthday, Isaac Butts. And so we're going to out to dinner with them. And so I said, let me, take my shower now. And that way, when I do the show, I can just get dressed. And I wanted to do one of the most relaxing things I love to do when I'm in the shower. And that's just stand over the water, under the water, and let it just beat down on my head, on the top of my head. I love that. It just feels like it's cleansing my soul. I love to do that. But as you can see, I just got my head did. So I wasn't doing that. Not the first day out. No, I'm gonna give it a little time. After a week or so, I probably will, because this hairstyle is meant to last. So I'll give it a week or two, and then I'll go ahead and get rough with it. But right now, no. But I love doing that. And it's an exercise that I learned. It was a strategy I picked up from um, a woman spiritualist that I knew a long time ago in my 30s. And it was something she said. She said, talk about relaxation. You She said you will feel like you are scrubbing the inside of your soul. And it does feel that way. Um, so do me a favor. This is what I want you all to do this week, this weekend. I want you to take some time, a good hour, 1 hour. You can do this. I know you can. Find one thing that you're going to do to enjoy 1 hour of total silence. And let me tell you this, if you think it's going to be hard, try walking. If thinking of nothing just races, because the mind just doesn't turn off. Okay. So you're going to have thoughts, and it's okay. Let those thoughts come. If you want to control those thoughts, begin to talk to God. Pray. But at some point, I want you to stop and listen for an answer. Make yourself aware of what's going on around you. Even if you stay in a house, what's going on? When I said there's weird sounds in my house, they're weird sounds. I don't get afraid because I've already made my peace. I don't care if people say, oh, it's ghosts in the house. Well, he's going to have to be here or she's going to have to be here because I'm not leaving. So I made peace with that. I'm not afraid of anything. I do when if I hear something sound like an animal, that's a whole nother story. But I'll have my husband investigate it when he gets home. But find something you can do. Turn your phone off for an hour. Turn the television off for an hour, but give yourself 1 hour. And I want you to write when you get finished after that hour. I want you to write what it felt like for that hour. Was it uncomfortable? And write why. Was it, what emotions came to you? What feelings cropped up? What thoughts popped into your head? What did that length of time feel like? Was it too much? Was it overwhelming? If you want to sit still for that time, if you want to lay down for that time, whatever it is you want to do. Another form of meditation, I would say, if you wanted to do a spiritual book, um, Henry Nouwen's Matters of the Heart is a good one. Um, there are a lot of books out here written by mystics, and I say mystics, I mean Christian mystics, people who are Howard Thurman, who are aware of the spiritual world and write about it. People who are very much masters of spiritual formation on how you connect with God, on how we connect with one another through God. Um, so pick up something like that. You can pick up your Bible if you like, but not to read through the Bible, but to focus on a passage or a message from the Bible. If you have a favorite scripture, but when you finish, write how you experienced that moment. And then the next thing I want you to do when Monday comes, find another hour. And it doesn't have to be all at one time. Maybe you're going to do a half an hour on Monday and a half an hour on Wednesday, half an hour Saturday morning, and maybe a half an hour on Sunday, if that's how you want to do it. But find 2 hours during the week. If you need to chop it up into 15-minute bits, do that. And if you want to plan what you're going to do with that time, do that. Sometimes it's hard to plan because you don't know where you're going to be. Your schedule changes, it varies. People, you have a lot of people in your life who may need you when you have to go. But I find my car is one of the most sacred places I have. My dashboard, that dashboard pulpit is a powerful place. So maybe it will be your car. Maybe it's going to be the shower. Maybe it's going to be on that bleacher waiting for your child to get finished with whatever practice they have. Find a time for you to connect with you, to allow God to feed you. Because this is what I came to understand with this silence. It says, do not be conformed to this world, but transform yourself by the renewing of the mind. Do not be conformed. That's the first task. So, before we can even think about renewing the mind, you need to make sure that you're not conforming. And if you're running around like a chicken with no head, that's confirmation. That's confirming. Conforming. I'm sorry, not confirming, conforming. If you're busy trying to get in where you fit in, that's conforming. If you find that you're engaged in a whole lot of activities you don't like and not don't get anything from, but you've been doing it for so long, that's conforming. If you're involved in ministries at church and you can't tell one thing that you love about that ministry, conforming, stop doing it. Find another ministry. We were created as individuals, and sometimes you need to spend time with your creator to know what direction to go in. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Spend an hour this weekend. And if you can spend an hour over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you definitely can find 2 hours over 7 days. And then next week, I want you to tell me how it felt. Next week, I want you all to comment on whatever device you're watching from. Let me know how it felt. Let me know what you got out of it. Okay. My name is Diane A. Butts. I am a soul care strategist, and this is Daughters of the Divine of Divine Joy. I want you to continue to tune in here to PA Empowerment Network and check out the whole lineup of shows from Monday to Friday, I believe. So especially check out the new Wednesday health segment with Nurse Connie, Mental Health Mondays. There's all kinds of things for all kinds of folks. So do yourself a favor and check it out. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. I have my girls, Miss Cat, Miss McCall, Bunny, and so many others. Kendall said he's going to have to start making a list. But if I didn't call you out by name, please know that you are loved, and I am praying for you. And I want you to know this: don't keep this to yourself. Because if I said something that touched you, if there's something that stirred your soul, imagine how God could do the same thing for other people that you know. Don't keep it to yourself. You like, you subscribe, but also suggest to others. Share it. Share that you can, on whatever platform, you can take it and share it. Share it with the people on your webpage. Share it with your social media buddies. Tell your folks at church about it. Tell your friends at work. But don't keep it to yourself. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, beloved. I will see you next week coming from beautiful Hawaii. Take care. Love yourself. Welcome to Daughters of Divine Joy, the radio show for women who are tired of choosing between success and their sanity. Each week, we gather around this virtual table to talk about the things nobody else is saying out loud: how to lead without burning, how to set boundaries without guilt, how to honor your calling without sacrificing your soul. This is a sacred place for women who are done accepting chaos as normal and ready to claim the joy that's been their birthright all along. This is Daughters of Divine Joy. Welcome.